Should open the Town of Newbury Recreation Committee meeting at 6:03 on February 6th. Members present:
Ben Norton,
Courtney Boudreau,
David Brohl,
Mark Sands.
Cindy Career, the Council on Aging Liaison.
Okay, we are here and we are ready to go. Members present, we've done reading the previous minutes. I did not do the minutes. I have them written down, but we'll have to wait until next minute.
I'll make a motion to table the minutes to the next meeting.
Second?
That's a yes?
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
All approved? Okay.
Yes.
Correspondence, bills and claims. Or correspondence, I guess the first question.
Mary had emailed me just with, let's see. It didn't necessarily look like there were any updates. She said, I don't see anything here which needs to be reclassified just in case it comes up in the meeting on Monday. And she was referring to a forwarded message from the assistant account, find your year-to-date monthly report. Please review and let the accounting department know if any items need to be reclassified. So that's what she was referring to.
I just had one question, which I'll ask Mary about. Bill, that was paid. I just don't understand because it wasn't in my notes. I don't know if you know who this person is. Well, we can wait.
No idea.
Okay.
No idea. No idea. Bills and claims. I think, did we just go over that, or?
And Mary's not here, so we really shouldn't be doing too much of that.
We don't have a second. Did we discuss that in a second?
Well, that'll be second. Part of that, we do need to confirm Mary and Courtney as our primary and secondary signers for our finances.
Okay.
So Mary's not here to accept the position, even though well, let's do it this way. She is primary now because Celine has
Shifted over to her.
Shifted over to her, and Celine, after many years of dutiful service, has stepped down. Courtney, would you like to be and accept the position of the assistant signer to our finances?
Sure. I don't know what that entails, but.
Well, Mary will fill you in.
Okay.
Basically, if warrants come in, you have to sign them, get them to the assistant treasurer. I'll get the document for the next meeting for all of us to sign to formally put that into the file.
Okay.
But can we vote on that? I make a motion that we have Courtney be our secondary in the absence of Mary to sign our financial documents.
Second. Any discussion on it? We shall vote. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
It has been approved.
Thank you.
New business, review and vote on permit applications.
Courtney?
Yes, so this was.
That's your show.
I
This
know,
is your
this was
show.
a terrible night. I've bought my computer every night and I forgot my computer at work to pull up my rec. However, we do have outstanding ones from the, let's see. Should be able to-
Well, you point out, can I just acknowledge, I see two people from Triton Youth Lacrosse, John and Jen, thank you. Jason from Triton Youth Lacrosse, and
Danielle Athanasiadis.
Danielle.
How you doing?
I didn't recognize you.
I've heard that name.
So,
From-
it's but not behind a camera. Behind
Okay. You know, it's a backdrop. Danielle, thank you very much for coming. As Courtney is pulling this up, we're rolling this new process out. So there's going to be a couple, anticipate maybe a bump or two, so bear with us with it. But it seems to be streamlined at our end. I hope it's streamlined at your end. If there's any questions, comments, or concerns, let us know so we can refine it so it's as easier for you than the paper had been. The other part is, as we're waiting, let me know when you're ready. With the assumption that permits will be granted, at the conclusion of the season, can we remove all the equipment except for maybe one set of nets? One net or one set, Dave?
Probably one set, but
One.
keep it in the back side of the field.
That way people don't feel like, oh my God, there's always stuff going on. So other people want to use the fields particularly closer to the road. And then once your season's done, the idea is during the summer, I've seen people, a couple of dads with their daughter, or a dad with a daughter, working on goal work for soccer. And a couple of dads were up with their daughters doing some shooting drills. So the idea is that they keep that stuff going.
Did you have any luck getting nets underneath this past season?
Didn't even try.
Oh,
Because you mentioned dealing with DPW,
yep,
and I know that we would need to go like in there to put
Yep.
them out and coordinate with them.
yep,
It just made it a little difficult.
okay.
So all of our nets were in the back.
Do you want to revisit that, Ed?
We certainly can.
Okay.
Yeah.
If it's easier in their space for
Yeah.
the cross nets and if there's space underneath that building, I don't know what I know during the summer times they keep some of the cutting equipment down.
Yeah, they do.
But if there's room down there, it's been years since I've been down there, if there's room, then I think that they were open to putting stuff down there.
Yeah, it'd be super helpful to like put stuff like lining equipment and then maybe some first aid equipment.
Okay, cool.
Like safety gear.
The problem with that, John, from our perspective or my perspective, is DPW is not going to want to come and open it up for you to do the lining.
Yeah.
It's for this, sort of like for the season, end of the season, put everything in, what we can get in there and not take up their space.
Would there be any way to grant like a single point of contact access like per club that would have the ability to like unlock with a code or something like that? We can do that with the town of Georgetown.
We can check.
Yeah.
The challenge is because there's equipment in there.
Yep.
Issues of safety and all that come into place as opposed to,
Yeah.
if it was just a storage locker without mowing equipment and
Yeah.
stuff, it might be easier.
How much space does it take up? Is it like a just regular lining?
It's
machine?
pretty small, like
Yeah.
probably like
Like a yard spreader or something?
oh, it's smaller than that. Yeah, like yard spreader height. Yeah, like it's like a yard spreader and then some paint, some boxes of paint.
Like-
So
like a
you're
little
probably
shed.
talking about like.
Yeah,
4
we
feet
could
by
also-
4 feet.
I mean, I don't know what the story is with the, if anyone has gotten to the point of using that cafeteria, or if that's gonna be a possibility, but that may be something that we may be able to work out. So I don't know how, are
Are
you
you
guys using
talking about like
that?
the kitchen area
Yeah.
in
The
there?
concession
Are
site.
you using it?
Plenty of room in there. And we put folding chairs in there,
Yeah.
but there's, for stuff
We'll
like that.
investigate that so
Yeah.
people can leave their equipment, that kind of stuff, and that's, I think will be easier for us to justify, hey,
You know what, there's
One
a
of us.
counter too, and if they had like bins that they marked with their club name or whatever,
Yeah,
you know, like they can just push it under there and grab it when they need it for their, because that's a keypad for you to get
Yeah,
into that.
I mean, that would be ideal, especially for first aid stuff too. Like,
Right.
we'd love to have like a big place to keep extra, like ice packs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely is next.
Ice packs would be the number one.
yeah. Okay, that's easy enough. We'll discuss that.
Okay.
you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
So, please bear with me just because I am new at this and it seems like this is a new process in general. So I have 6 requests. So should I just go down the line with them?
Sure, what are the 6 requests?
So we have from Danielle, Mass Rush North. The dates are April 2nd of this year to June 9th. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Looks like start time 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then
That's Monday through Friday?
No,
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
Yeah.
Friday. So
Nine
no,
to-
no
no.
Saturdays,
No
9 to
Saturdays.
4.
no. And just during the week, it's 4:30 to 7:30, and then 4:30 to 8, Monday through Thursday, when this time changes. 9 to 4 and then 10 to 6 on 2 fields.
Oh, yeah, and then I see it says,
Yeah.
yeah, the weekdays, 4:30 to 7:30. So that's the first one, and then we have, John from Triton Youth Lacrosse, has 4 of them, different dates. So, let's see, the first one is, March 31st to June 16th. This is weekdays, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, from 4 to 8. And then same, Triton Youth Lacrosse, April 1st to June 18th. The weekend, Saturday and Sunday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then another Triton Youth Lacrosse,
They're mirrors of each other.
Yeah,
one's for
okay, I
Field
see.
1 and one's for Field
Okay.
2.
yep, so same dates, same times.
Just field 1 and field 2?
Yeah, just this is no changes to
Yeah.
last year.
Yep.
Yep. I think this is all pretty standard.
It is.
And then Triton Youth Soccer, Jason, requests, April 3rd to June 17th. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, so no Sunday, no Friday, from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m.
There should be a Saturday as well.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, yep. So no Sunday, no Friday,
Yeah, 4:30 to
6:30.
4:30 to 6:30, and then 9 to 4 on Saturday.
Okay, I don't have one for that. Oh, 9 to 4 on Saturday, so. Yep, Saturday's 9 to 4. On field 3, it likes different fields.
Yeah. So my assumption is there's no duplicate redundancy on scheduling. I know Danielle and Jason had talked together to make sure there wasn't, I just want to make sure at our end that we're not committing to
Yeah, you guys are pretty, you guys have it pretty.
Pretty standard,
Yeah, fields 1 and 2.
2 and 3 and
Oh, yeah.
3 and 4, yeah.
3, 4, and 5. And you guys have talked together about,
Yeah,
and that's what we're looking for, is that
Yeah.
working relationship.
Go ahead.
A quick question. So if we wanted to make a quick, like, or a small change to what we're looking for, not a big change, like a minute change, what's the process of that? And how do we, deal with that? Do we want to do that before everything gets accepted, or is there any ability to change mid, after it gets accepted? I'm just trying to understand the process, because it's a lot. We're trying to get Monday through Friday in, and then the weekends in, and for our budget, we run the numbers and we're like, oh God, because it's a big increase for us. So we're wondering if there's a couple places we might be able to trim down that might just help our club a little bit. And just I want to make sure that I'm following your process, to not cause a snafu of paperwork or something make it hard for someone later. So how should we behave in terms of that?
That's a good question.
Yeah, because we're now down with the software.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking, like, on that.
In the past, it has been, you put your application in, and once if it gets approved and accepted, that's what you have.
Yeah.
And there's no going back.
Exactly.
We understand that in terms of how tough it is for the clubs to get all the stuff that we're asking for before the season starts, your quarries, your this, your that. So we're trying to be understanding of, we don't even know who our coaches are, so we can't get quarries, or Mass Soccer runs the quarries, so we can't get that until they're done. So we're trying to be flexible with that. I have to defer to people here because of...
And are you like, for example, are you thinking of like changing like a time, or?
We're just thinking about maybe like shrinking down a little bit of time, or maybe.
Just to save money in our budget. 'Cause
Yeah.
right now, this is like the biggest expenditure, and we already had to increase fees for
So,
registering.
So we're like, if we need to cut like an hour off a day, yeah, as an example, just, and this is, I'm just spitballing, but maybe it's cut an hour or cut 2 hours off of a Friday or something, or maybe it's cut 3 hours off of a Saturday and shrink up that time allowance. So we're just trying.
can you do that, I mean, can you do that now? And then add stuff on
Yeah.
if needed? I mean, does that seem like the smart way to do it? To sort of, you know, start at whatever time and then we could, you know, I think it's, then that time will be open and then you take and use it. I mean, does that seem?
Are you asking, is there a way to go into the software and do that?
Oh, I'm just asking best practice with the
general.
software and what you guys would prefer, so like both digitally and what works best, because I know you guys meet once a month,
Yeah.
and so to then have to do like approvals, you know, midstream sounds like it'd be really tough, like not ideal for you, so I'm just trying to understand what, you know, the best path would be and how we can, and if it is, if you're saying, hey, make that change today and make it up front, like not a problem, like, well, Jen and I just need to get together real quick and make an adjustment.
That would be my suggestion, is we can hold off on accepting, come up with a comfortable schedule,
Yeah,
and then resubmit it, you know, tell us.
okay.
So, because otherwise we get into the headache of, it keeps changing if somebody else comes in, because in theory, once we've granted you something, somebody else can come in and say, oh, you're not using it that day, we're gonna come in.
Yeah.
Now you want it, so my suggestion is let's reconvene, you and Jen, talk about what you wanna do. It doesn't impact fields 3, 4, and 5, so that makes it easier.
Yep.
And then come back when we can postpone that, put it much later in the schedule. But I think it'd be, if that's acceptable to everybody.
Yeah,
Makes the most
I think we
sense.
should be flexible with that.
So depending upon what times you guys decide to free up,
Yeah,
just let me know.
okay.
Cause I have like the little kids, Jen knows like the little kids.
Yep.
We can always use your space,
Sure. Yep.
you know, if that works.
Okay.
Cause in the spring, you know, we're down 2 fields. So I have to kind of structure things on field usage with the league because of setting up the games.
Yep.
Where if John's amenable and they free up space, I have my little kids program where they're like 30, 40 pounds. You know, at least I could set that up instead of on the game fields.
Right.
So that would just increase our hours depending upon what John wants to carve away. We
Yeah.
might be able to use on that.
And what's the best like mechanics for a resubmittal, I guess then, like, should I go through the same process that I went before with, was it Lindsay?
Could you do it tonight?
Oh, yeah, I can do it, I mean, yeah, whatever, I mean, I can do it now.
Because I don't want us to keep
Yeah,
postponing, because if another one of our members is not here, we don't have a meeting.
yeah,
Now you're looking at April, unless we had and it's just, if you came up with something, I think it'd be easier for the group to approve that, and then if there is additional space for another user, they could then resubmit. But what the idea is, prioritize certain groups based on the criteria we set in the policy.
yep,
And once we've had those out, other groups can come in, or the existing groups can ask for more.
yep,
So let's see if we can't get that nailed down, so you have a certain amount, you're guaranteed your spot. Because if you take it away now, by the doctrine that we are obligated to go by,
yeah,
you've missed the deadline,
yep,
and therefore somebody could come in, Newbury or Brick Throwers
yeah,
could come in and use up that spot. So my suggestion is reconvene, come back in a bit,
okay,
and give us what you're looking at, and we'll work with Lindsay about how to
Add it in.
end that in.
Yeah, because I don't know if they would have to resubmit the whole, like, all the dates in the process again.
Or can you go in and edit your?
Right, well, I can't,
Unless you
I can like view and hold
stream on
dates,
Saturday.
but I don't know that I can edit like a
I'm wondering if
request.
they can go in and edit their own.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So
It's
let's,
possible.
yeah. Nice jacket.
Okay.
Hey, thanks. We're legit.
So why don't you guys?
Hey, Mark, so I think.
No, I think we'll just keep it.
Yeah, I think I've made a
What,
mess.
you two don't wanna talk together?
Yeah. We just confirmed, we'll just keep it simple this year, and let us get a little more, if we need to make modifications for 2024, and get a little fancy with it, let's do it then. And will this program though, it acts in such a way that once we set that in there, there is really there's no vessel for modification, or?
So that's a great question, and you would think there would be some sort of edit option. From
Yeah.
my end, like on the management side, it doesn't, I can view your request, I can hold the dates, I can book them,
Yep.
but I don't know that I can make edits. I don't know if you can go in and edit your own submission.
I don't know. if
That's
that-
the thing, yeah,
That's
I
what
don't
I'm
know.
kinda
that
asking,
either.
I'm
Right,
wondering
no,
if
I,
it-
Yeah,
right.
we don't know.
Yeah.
I s-
But I'd rather not rock the boat this year, and we can if we have some time, like I can just tell you, hey, go across or something like that. I'd rather do that than rock the boat this year.
You're not rocking the boat, because what you're doing is helping us understand how to better utilize this.
Yeah.
And when situations come up like this, we'll have a better response. So it's, to me, it's all good.
Okay,
Yeah, eventually this is supposed to be seamless,
yeah.
but
And
is anything, but yeah.
So I think, but from our perspective, let's make it easy for you guys to accept our
Application?
application for 2023. It locks in our season, which, is confidence that we want as we move forward. Just setting up everything for all our games and stuff that all happens, so it starts on Friday with the league, with MIL. So we want to give them our availability on Friday, and then maybe there can be conversations, mid-season or later after the season
Yeah.
about, how we could make modification for 2024 or better understand the platform.
Yes.
And how modifications can be made within the platform.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
I think that's great. Again, that's, as I said earlier, we're rolling something out that we haven't seen a lot of usage. So we're gonna have new experiences and questions that we had not anticipated, so, thank you.
Yeah. No worries. And just so you guys know from a budget perspective, so I think it's good feedback for you as an organization, like, that's running the recreation department, to understand your users, interaction. From a budget perspective, it's a pretty big increase on our line item. I think we went from, it's gonna go from like 6 to 10.
Like, like 95.
So like, just as a ballpark, so that's like a pretty big increase to our bottom line. We're all volunteers, so like there's no paid folks on our group, so, when we run an annual total budget of 35, that's a big, it's a big chunk, right? So just want to be transparent with that information for you guys. We have nothing to hide at our club from the transparency point of budgeting. We're just trying to create, youth sports for lacrosse. So it's a real part of our budget. So.
And just to go with John, with Triton Soccer, we always in our communications say, scholarships are available for those that their kid wants to play but you can't afford, so that way all kids can play. We closed our travel, which is about half of our program, and of the kids that we have signed up, we had 20 scholarship requests, and we don't say no. 20 scholarship requests, we had 3 from Raleigh, 2 from New Bern, and 15 from Salisbury, just based on the Triton area.
I need to say this, we neglected to ask when you speak, the first time you speak, we really should be asking you to identify who you are, so we're being recorded. People know that John Vogel was the first person to speak representing Triton Youth Lacrosse, and Jason DeRozier was the most recent speaker representing Triton Youth Soccer.
Thank you.
So, but just to go on with what John was saying, it's hard to increase our usage fees knowing that, we're giving like so many scholarships away. We're come to that.
And just to piggyback, that's why we're asking questions about, hey, is there ways for us to shift?
Right.
So like that's where it comes from. So we look at our budget for the year, like when we put it in, and then said, okay, this is now costs that are gonna affect our yearly, what modifications, and we're using this form, obviously, because this is what we need you to ask those questions. That's why we're addressing it and being forthright with the budget change and asking about, what can we do? So, just trying to be transparent, I guess.
And thank you. Okay, so with those requests,
And it looks like everybody did their puzzle piecing of the fields and such, so nobody has any overlap.
okay.
So it's time?
These votes are all conditional in that your documentation needs to be provided to the town before using the fields, which is the course. And again, we understand, whereas we're still pulling coaches together, you may not have it. Your binders should be already part of your insurance binders should already be part of this package, and all that stuff. The second part of this is understand, fields don't open up until the Department of Public Works gives the okay for the season. As we know, the springtime is growing, toughest time on it, so they tend to be quite judicious in when they open up. Once the season starts, please understand, if you're allowed on the field, you're responsible for it. We will have days in which we will ask if the fields are closed. We'll have a little sign available. We'll try to get some type of notification out, but some of this is, we have a downpour at 2, and it stops at 4, and your practice is at 4:30, and the fields are soaked. I'm not going to be able to, well, maybe I could, but it may not be wise to have practice on the fields. So we have to trust you as stewards of the property because of its impact on your season, just like years past. Dave, is there anything else?
I think that we were talking last meeting about having a April 1st hard start, but I see nothing wrong with going the March 31st, same weekend, so I think that works, and I think it also depends on, like you said, DPW, whether the fields are good, and they should be. That's what we're gonna hope this year. Of course, the way it's going, they're gonna have snow all March or something, but, yeah. So are we prepared to vote on this?
Yeah, each one individually, so.
All right, first one, I think, who's on your list first?
So first is Mass Rush North.
That's right.
Make a motion to accept Mass North.
Just rush.
Rush, thank
Rush.
you.
Rush.
Thank you. Application for the spring of '23 as presented.
Second, any discussion? Let's vote. All in favor?
Yes, aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, done.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The second, so Triton Youth Lacrosse has 4 of them, like you said, they're mirrors of the fields. So we'll just go in one fell swoop for Triton Youth Lacrosse.
Make a motion to accept the 4 applications submitted by Triton Youth Lacrosse for the spring of '23.
Second.
Second.
You got this. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That passes.
And finally, Triton Youth Soccer.
Make a motion to accept the applications submitted by Triton Youth Soccer for the spring of '23.
Second.
All in favor? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Done. Okay,
Thank you all.
thank you.
Sorry, Jen Lucier, from Triton Lacrosse. I just have a question. Historically, do you know, has the fields usually opened on April 1st, or like how late into April have you ever gone? Just because we have to schedule our games,
Yeah.
we're prioritizing our turf.
I think it was 1 year, right?
Was it last year? We had
Maybe
an
open
early,
on time, no?
was on time. prior years, we actually went to, when was it?
Second week of April.
Second
Your
week.
second,
Yeah,
third
second
week of
week.
April.
It was
So,
actually
snow.
from a scheduling perspective, I would not schedule any home games at the Central Street Field until at least the third, maybe the fourth. If you had a turf field that you could use, I would use that. And I do know that many programs have the same issue with the grass fields, and everybody rushes to the turf fields for the first 2 weeks.
Is this good for him to just ask you guys like an open question about the fields for 2023?
I have no objection to it if we have a group here.
Yeah, I'm just curious if there are any like plan changes from like the town of Newbury on how they're like, maintaining, or if there's growth plans or for the town. Are there any? I haven't done my homework obviously. So is there anything coming down the track on the roadmap for the fields that you guys, the lacrosse club, you should be aware of for the next year?
I can't think of anything that would impact the playing fields.
Nothing on the maintenance side or?
No, we will let
We're-
the,
Yeah, we're trying to come up with a general plan for that whole area, but I don't think it's gonna affect any of the fields. I think that's the hard stop, is to keep all the fields the way they are. But there's thoughts of someday doing a playground, maybe a walking track around the whole entire area. There's all sorts of thoughts, and so we're trying to develop stuff.
Nice.
But as you know, I think it's the hard thing for us right now is trying to figure out parking, because as you know that.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next question. Is there any plans I know that police have a key to the back gate.
Yeah,
Are there any plans or like, is there a communication protocol that we want to apply, like, or follow on like the really busy days coming in the spring to open that back gate?
exactly. And so what happened last time around was and again, I think it's more our fault getting things organized. That back gate, unfortunately, has to open in towards, instead of,
Towards the courts?
yeah. So someone, maybe a dog walker, someone gets there early and parks right there, and then we can't open the gate because there's no way to put the gate open and let cars. I think that if you guys, I would say that we're gonna push to have the police department know, to start doing during the weekends, to have that open.
Yep.
And so if you guys can let your people know that back gate, because last time it was like, folks go pull back there, and people were somewhat hesitant going by the basketball court. And, I think that probably solved some of the problem.
Yeah,
John, just so you know, this past fall, I had reached out to you guys, and you guys mentioned to reach out to the Newburyport Police Department. So, we did, arrange something that the police department, worked and was good with. So, Tractor Soccer had the code.
Okay.
So we would go through, we would open up the gate. We would open up the gate, we would be the first ones there, we would open up the gate, and we would be responsible to close and lock the gate once everybody was done using. And then the Newbury Police Department would patrol later on to make sure it's locked on their end. But we're able to open it and close it. The only thing I did, which I may do a little, if it's okay with you, get wooden stakes, is I used corner flags to mark off where the septic, where
Yeah.
the raise is,
Yeah.
to make sure that people
Don't
make
park
that
there.
corner to park in the back.
Yeah.
and we can talk to DPW, see if they can get something for the spring season.
Yeah, and if not, then I'll see if I can get up there early for the spring season and put a big spray paint red mark, do not park here, so
Yeah.
that gate can always open.
So I can share the code with John,
Yep.
and we take responsibility of opening and closing it.
Yep. Yeah, that'd be good. There's like a single point of contact for each club that has that code.
Yeah,
And just so that your users know, I don't know if there's visitors that come in for these games that don't know, but that they understand that they can drive past the basketball court, and then take a left and park out there. There's no fixed parking, so whatever, it seems like whatever first person does, the second person does, and so on, so on, so on. So we can talk to DPW, maybe work out a plan to make it more efficient parking.
Yeah, game 3, parking in the back, so
Yeah,
that,
they put like an additional parking sign or
Yeah.
something, or just like a
Yeah.
handmade sign. doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
because you guys know it's there, it's just that other people don't.
Visitors won't know.
And so, I mean, I felt like the word is, you know, corralling kittens, to try to get people to go out back there one day, and I did as best I could, and there were still cars on the street, so I was like, so, all right.
and that we, like somebody, Jen said, with the additional parking, that could be the Saturday, Sunday part of the setup of opening it up, and if we can get another sign, say additional parking in the back, just to keep people from preventing unnecessary tickets for parking on the street.
Can say that, no parking.
And again, if the, you know, the families know that there's additional parking out back there, then it would probably work out well. And you guys just get the word out.
Cool. And we do our part too.
Yeah. And I'll have a conversation with DPW and see if they have an idea about what we can do as far as, you know, maybe making something work. Because it's, you know, it's that long road that goes all the way down the very end where the lights used to be. So there's a ton of places people can park. It's just to make it organized and not a disaster.
I think people feel like that's like emergency vehicle use back there too.
Yeah,
Well, we have to change that.
yeah.
Signage.
Signage. Signage.
So again, thank you all for being here to help us through this process. I know it's time from your day and families. But as we roll through this, we have to get a better understanding that our end and your input is really appreciated. So I'll pass and I'll send an email out to all of you, acknowledging for your records.
I really appreciate your communication, Mark, so thank you for that. Just for when the dates come for these meetings and whatnot, you know, I rely on that, so. So thank you.
And we passed along to each other.
Which is what we've been looking for, you know, this relationship that as stewards of the field, you gotta work together. And if there's problems, we can't be the one solving it, it's working together, so thank you.
Does anyone else typically use the fields? Like are there other?
Entities, there have been in years past,
Mhm.
not so much in the spring because
Right.
others, so no, in the last 5 years, 6 years, we haven't.
So these guys are the major.
Major
players,
ones, right.
Yep. Cool.
Can I
Thank you.
ask one quick question?
Yes.
Summer permits, registration open that
Open, it should have opened up already.
this
so-
week, right?
Yeah.
I just wanted.
And again, the whole idea behind this is give you, having run summer programs myself, I usually have my programs registration done by this time. So it's ready to roll. So we're trying to get it earlier so you can plan accordingly. We had a major snafu a few years back, which was really disruptive. So we want to get the summer out as soon as possible.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We're going to old business, folks.
Can I ask something before we move on?
Yes.
In terms of permit applications, so for the Council on Aging, we use the field house for a yoga class and a stretch class, and I put in the permit, the application through the end of March.
Yes.
So should I go ahead and do April through? what?
Yes, do the next round, because when Celine passed this
Yeah.
on to me, that's when we saw your dates.
Yes.
I think it even had lapsed a little, like.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were like, no, we have to get this in, so we for all intents and purposes, booked that.
Yep.
And then, so just go in and do the.
So now, do you want me to do just
dates.
3 months, or do you want me to do March through the end of the summer? Like, how do you?
I think, the March, however long you can probably.
Well, technically,
How.
Like your, like seasons, I don't know how you,
at this point in time, we're going by seasons.
okay.
Once the new policy is accepted for the field house.
Yeah.
One, it'll be ongoing and rolling, so that you could, particularly town entities, could just book it and it's done. You don't have to worry about losing your space.
Yeah, you have first choice.
Right.
And this way, and you could do it for the year.
I could do it for the year.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's-
But that's
that-
not until that policy is accepted.
In theory, yeah. So the idea, which I'll explain a little bit more when that comes up.
All right, but what I'll do tomorrow is go ahead in and just do it through the end of August,
Mhm.
so at least I'm just,
Great.
okay.
So because, what is, for my reference, what is the difference between the Council of Aging asking to do like the same process using the field house and like these guys, like the voting, what is the difference? Is it because they're a town, is it the town entity?
I'm not sure I
or-
understand your question, but I'm going to answer something nonetheless.
Okay,
There's a certain priority of usage of the field, particularly of the fields,
Mhm.
and we're applying it to the field house and then eventually the basketball, and to the basketball courts.
Mhm.
Town entities have a highest priority.
Sure.
Without a cost.
Without a cost,
Yeah.
and it's just, here, go.
Yeah.
And that way, no, I can say that way. And then the paying and other levels, they have within that, they have its own priorities, like existing. We want to have organizations maintain a residency, if you will.
Mhm.
So there's consistency. It's not like, oh, you get it 1 year and I'll take it away.
Sure, right.
And they have to keep fighting for it. It just makes it easier.
Mhm.
Does that answer your question?
So, sort of. But my gut, the gut of my question was, we had to vote on these proposal or applications, but we don't have to vote.
In the past, you guys have voted.
Yeah, we
I think
will vote,
because,
but
voted,
nothing's
I
been
believe we
submitted.
voted.
but I think because of
Okay.
my lapse.
Right.
That last time.
Right,
Just because I totally forgot
right.
to
Yeah.
do that.
Okay.
But ordinarily, you guys.
You would
vote.
still
Okay,
vote. Yeah.
right, and you're right, because it was sort of like, okay, we could just.
I got
vote this,
a
this is
tickler
fine.
email like, hey, make sure
Um,
you do this, so.
Okay.
So, and so that way we acknowledge that somebody's using it.
Right,
Yep.
okay.
So for the next meeting, I'll have this done, and then if you guys can put it on the agenda for the next meeting to vote.
Yeah, for additional, see, and the idea is every meeting, whatever comes in for non-field use, basketball court or whatever, that's a rolling,
Okay.
we can just approve it right away. It won't go by season.
Okay.
You know, it'll be a faster turnaround for people.
Yeah, we might lock you out if you don't. do
Right.
something. So that answers those questions? All right, update on pickleball. That I think is Mark's deal.
Well, I'm going to defer to Cindy.
So the Council on Aging has a good group of people. Right now, I have like 26 people that want to play pickleball. And I think once I have a location, that will probably grow. I have not been able to secure anything indoors for the winter. So Newbury Elementary School doesn't have any availability. We haven't been able to connect with governors. Tracy tried Triton because of other sporting events, and I can't be in the school during school hours, that whole kind of stuff. So it's difficult, and there's no building in town that's big enough and high enough and wide enough and all that other business to accommodate this. So I am looking at outdoor space to do spring, summer, fall, and then winter's just gonna have to be an off-season for us. So
At this time, we might
for
be-
now, we never know, right, you never know. So what I would like to do is use the Central Street, the basketball
Yep.
court, because it's easy for me to get over there and set up temporary lines and nets and whatever,
Yep.
you know, a couple of mornings a week. One morning would be for beginners to learn how to play pickleball, the other morning would be for more advanced players. I've been told there's quite a difference. So I want to try to accommodate everybody. But if I could do it twice a week, that would be great.
Can I make a suggestion? Having played pickleball
Mhm.
and how fast and busy it is, my suggestion is for the next meeting, we vote on having, starting in April. And I don't know what days are gonna be best for you, but if we have extra days, because for all intents and purposes, the kids are in school. There are kids who, in theory, could be using the basketball court, but if we set time, which I would defer to you with your group, to say every hypothetically, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we have adult pickleball, 2
Yeah.
courts.
Yeah, exactly. If you
And
do
if-
just like your other stuff and just tell us you want it these days, these hours, we can just lock that in.
And what I would propose for, and I will get up a sheet for the next one, which I have stuff here for discretionary spending, that we acquire portable nets, portable lines and balls, and maybe some extra paddles, so that people can play. And as this grows, we might be able to start saying, oh, Friday or Thursday nights, family nights, kids 12 and under with their parents can come play. But let's get the adults playing on a regular basis and then use that space necessary. But my suggestion is the rec committee allocate some of its funds to get it. I mean, I have a net and portable lines that I could bring in, but I think we should, and I'll get the prices, that we make the acquisition so it's there, ready to go for the town use.
So do you guys have that stuff already? Oh, so you don't? Okay, so you're just.
I'm happy to purchase it as well through my budget.
Yeah.
Because it's for a lot of people to use, but, you know, if
Yeah.
you want, I mean, and we're happy to share it.
Well, I'm just saying that we make sure that by April 1st, when the weather breaks, or even before then,
That we purchased?
we're ready and
Okay,
we
but-
can start advertising
Yeah.
that we are doing this, and I can tell you about.
Right.
But
Set up.
from your point of view, you'd like to have, you know, a certain, you know, I don't know what time, let's say.
Right, but
9
like a
a.m.
couple of days a week first, it's my understanding you need a couple of hours for a game.
Games, beginner games, we go to either 5 or 9, because it takes a long time to play. When you're more experienced, you go to 11, win by 2, and it can take 15, 20 minutes for a game.
First I was like, 5 to 9
Hey,
hours?
Jeez.
No.
It's a marathon.
Well, the other day, I was with a group, it
I
was
saw you like,
40,
About the same.
it was like 20-something minutes for a game to 9. Because people are, does anybody play tennis or any other of the paddle sports?
I have.
You know, there's certain,
I watch tennis.
well, if you want, for the record,
Yeah.
on ESPN 3, I think it is, they do have professional pickleball.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
no, that's okay.
Yeah. We can't get a franchise up here, the weather is just not good enough, but it can take a while for the beginner classes.
Sure.
And that's why at the Y's, they usually have beginners start, say, at 7, 8 o'clock is for intermediate and advanced, for the 2 other courts. So beginners take 1 court, court 1, and then an hour later, 2 and 3. And that way, the intermediates don't come in and play against the beginners,
Right.
which is.
Well, that's why I wanted to separate it by days.
So a
you
question
know.
for you is, both of you, because again, I know nothing about the sport. How many courts can you set on the
I was
basketball
just gonna ask
court?
the same
Yeah,
question.
is it just
of
1
what,
or is
like-
it 2?
The YMCA has a full-size basketball court, and they have 3 on it.
Okay, okay.
Now granted, the ball goes over into somebody's and you just raise your hand and
So-
everybody agrees to it, it
So
stops.
you'll just like say, we need it for 2 hours, Monday, Wednesday, or Fridays, or something like that.
Mhm.
And you can let us know.
The times.
We'll get- and
But
then
you
we'll
think
work-
I can get 3?
We'll go up and measure to make
Okay.
sure everything, because when we set a full-size court, there's full-size for high school sports, full-size for college, and full-size professionals. We'll measure it out, so there's adequate space in between. I don't know if you ever had a chance to, and I can send you the pickleball schedule at the YMCA's, and you can just pop in and see how that goes.
Okay.
But the idea is, there could be an overlap, or beginners are here and then 2 people here, however you want to set it up.
Because I have 2 people that are willing to teach for the beginner class,
Yeah.
but then they want to play
Oh,
for the
yeah.
advanced, you know, and they'll,
So at least, it's a full-size basketball court. I think it's, when we had the dimensions done, I think it's NBA size, which is like 100 by, I don't know, I can't tell you, it was a while
Okay.
ago, we measured it out. So at least we know there's 2, you could put 2 games at
A
least?
minimum, it
Okay.
should be able to put 3.
Okay, so that's good. And so we've got a plan. And then it's just the other part, which is getting things.
So at the next meeting, I will have a budget.
Do you have to wear helmets and stuff?
I
I didn't know if it was a contact sport or something.
It's jumping over the net that's hard. That's the hard part for some of us. It's pretty, it's fun. The beauty of it is there's no officials. You call the game yourself. So if it goes into the kitchen, you call it. Can we talk
Yeah.
this week? Because my suggestion would be do the beginners for an hour
Mhm.
and then open it up courts 2 and 3 for the more advanced people. So the beginners can continue to play, and then
But then
those
that
who
gives
want.
another,
And then so it's not, you gotta come off, I'm in the middle of the game and all
Right.
that stuff, so
okay.
they can play and they can get 3 hours of, and then they can start, and they're mixing,
Okay.
but yeah.
All right. So yeah, you come up with, if you come with hours,
Okay.
and I guess probably, I don't even know if, is the basketball court in the MyRec system
I
already?
believe it is,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
It should be.
Well-
Each area, including the basketball court,
Yeah.
does have a.
And we'll make that work.
So I'll come to you guys at the next meeting first before I go into my rec, just so, or do you want me to put it in my rec?
You can put it in
Put it
MyRec,
in.
yeah, yeah, just lock it.
Okay.
Yeah, because then it can be in there, like hold the
Okay.
dates, so that anybody else.
If there's any ruffians down there using the basketball court, you just call Mark up. So,
Yeah,
Or hit them.
the pickleball police. I think these people are pretty hardcore, so they might take care of that themselves.
I would
They wanna
not,
play.
I would not be surprised
Yeah.
on a day like today, if it was shoveled off,
Mm-hmm,
they would,
Probably,
totally.
yeah.
probably.
huh, interesting.
I know, we had people at Pentucket High School do pickleball in the mornings before school, and they were really into it.
Newburyport, they have courts over there, and they're always full.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's a big deal.
Well,
Get ready.
it's ideal. A lot of people who play tennis, like my knees are shot. I can't
But they
do
can
that.
play this,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
And
great
people who are
exercise.
inept like me can hit the ball and feel good.
It's an accomplishment, but, okay, thank you.
Great,
guys.
I'm glad this is moving forward.
All right, so you youngins, we'll give you a little description about pickleball, because I don't know either, but, yeah.
I would love to get Triton.
Do they play pickleball and
Play a game against,
Well, no, to get Triton.
Yeah.
Use
Yeah.
the tennis courts.
I feel like I've only heard about it in my
Converting
adult
to summer
life.
and have
Never.
Is it the same
COAs
practical?
of the 3 towns.
No, it's something new and
I
different.
don't
It's
know,
like-
who just lost their.
The squash is inside. but
West-
Right.
Yeah.
It'll be hitting
I don't know, I feel
Well, you
like
use public
it's
transportation.
like, I don't wanna say ping pong, because that's not right.
It's like the short end,
Right, right.
right,
But like-
paddle and you like hit
And
the.
everybody,
Racquetball,
and you could
squash.
mix, I mean,
yeah,
that's.
I mean, as it is, a couple of
Fast-paced.
different COAs will have like
I think it's
cornhole
different size
tournaments
ball.
or, you know, stuff like
Maybe
that.
so.
You have a pickleball tournament,
Well, that's what I'd like to do
yeah.
up at.
People are laughing at school, we're laughing.
Senior game.
Right.
All this
That'd be
stuff.
great.
That's,
All right, we'll
all right,
have
talk this
Okay.
week and next week for that event,
Measurements and,
yeah.
yeah.
All right, so, I guess we don't have to deal anything with that. We'll let you do
Okay.
that, and then we'll vote on that next time around. Ideas for Central Street. I mean, update on ideas for Central Street. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead, and then I'll piggyback.
So, the playground is gonna be a thing. How do I put this? I think what Tracy wants us to do is to, go to Chris Huntress and say, here are our wants and desires. And then have him give us a price on doing a sort of a rough location for all these things.
A master plan.
Yeah, master plan. And so I think where we're at is, at this point, there's a canoe launch, right?
Yep,
Which is already on his plans.
yep, there's only a very limited number of places where that can go.
Yeah.
Next to that would be the bridge to the island, that's.
Yep.
That was there, that the Boy Scouts built back in like 2002, that had to be removed for safety purposes, but to replace that, that's a long-term project, as well as the bridge to the Triton complex.
Yep.
That we've already initiated.
2 bridges.
I know there's talk of an Eagle Scout, he's in my grade, I don't know that they're starting to plan a bridge. I think they're gonna come here in like a month or two. I don't know what's going on, but they're talking about building a bridge from Manchester to Triton.
Okay.
I don't know any details. I
Hearsay.
Can
Word
you
on the
have
street.
them approach us,
yeah,
the whole
I
process?
think they're
and-
coming like
Yeah,
in a month or two. I'm not.
That's good.
yeah,
It's a great project.
yeah. I think we've been through that, so.
Because there's another group that was looking at doing that as well.
Okay. I'll let them know.
Okay.
Yeah, hold it.
All right, and then my want was a walking trail around the whole field.
We would use that.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that'd be something that most of town would use.
To tie into that, the idea was to perhaps add fitness stations along
Right.
the way,
Yep.
so that the teams could use it when they were there or waiting for coaches.
Or don't use it,
Yeah,
right? Like,
Yeah.
it's there.
yeah, just
Kinda nice.
and that, all that stuff can be, I mean, that could also be add-on with Eagle Scout projects and stuff like that. But I think what we'll do is, we'll talk to Chris about giving us, these are our wants, and have him do a general plan for it, and then we'll see if we can bite off on those things.
In the location of
Yeah.
it, right, like because I know there was talk last time about various spots.
Yeah, we were talking the playground, and the playground is just, it's difficult because of size and location and traffic and losing parking.
And proximity to the fields. I mean, if you think about where the basketball field, basketball court is, there was concern during the spring when lacrosse was playing that area between the two is where a lot of the lacrosse teams warm up. And the balls are flying, so they're as concerned about location. And my thoughts, as I shared with Dave, you know, how big and what does it need to look like? Because there are some that are integrated into the environment that provide a lot of activities for different age groups. And I can send a picture out to people of the one out in.
My thought is too, just from personal experience, in my town, they put a playground near a soccer field, and it was easy for the parents to see the other kids while they're watching their
Yeah.
older child.
Yep.
They can see their smaller child on the playground.
Yep.
Instead of having, and I know it's gonna be nearly impossible for everybody because some of the fields are further away, but,
Well,
Yeah.
actually, and there are exceptions. In my scouting around in this area, some of it has to do with how much space each town has.
sure.
You know, if you go to a Cambridge, it's going to be a very different, or a Somerville. But if you look in, say, Hamilton, Wenham, Ipswich, Topsfield, West Newbury, a lot of the fields are separated playing fields, like in Newburyport, Cherry Hill. There's no playground equipment because the parking gets to be too much, and you keep the equipment. When I talked to one person who was involved in it, keeping the kid equipment away, like Action Cove is near the baseball fields, because you don't know how long a baseball game's gonna last, where the soccer games or lacrosse games have
Yeah.
a defined time, you come in and you go.
Right.
So there's, trying to figure out where it goes. I'm not dismissing a playground.
Mhm.
It's just, it's gonna be hard. And then part of it is, geez, wouldn't it be great if we could funnel people who want a playground to the far end? Down by fields 2 and, what would be 4, where that old road used to be, where there's lots of space. That might be hard, because people might not want to drive there, so.
Yeah, see, that's, Chris was saying that the best location is to be right near the field house, so that, we keep things together. There's nothing I see wrong with that at separate parking. And if we could somehow alleviate the parking, if we're gonna lose 25, 50 cars worth of parking, if we had apples for apples, and, it's not like we're changing things around, if we could put people in another location. It would be something bigger than the library, but it'd be a little bit more central for Newbury residents to use. But anyway, I will put that out to him. So we got walking trail, we have a playground. Any other thoughts at this point?
EV chargers, maybe? Another town is looking to get some for the library area, but if we had a couple chargers. And I mean, right now the state is offering grants to municipalities to encourage. And it'd be nice, like the library, people go there for a period of time.
That would be perfect,
Mostly,
actually.
Yeah, like 6 kilowatts, 6.5 kilowatts an hour.
All right. That's a good idea. Because that will be a thing soon, just like pickleball.
Yeah, and the nice part is that the town set the rate, so some places it's free,
Yeah.
and some places you might pay 12 cents or 15 cents a kilowatt.
Yeah.
They did that at the school that I work at a few years ago, took like, not very many, but like 5 parking spaces, put them all EV, and people were so mad because they took parking spaces and nobody uses the EV.
Have they started using the EV now or not? Are they still not being used? Because it's funny because in Topsfield I drive by now and they have 3 against the town hall there and people are using them.
They're expensive, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's going to be, like especially people, there's going to be a certain amount of people that are going to show up to games that are going to have electric cars. And if they can plug it in.
It's a nice feature.
A possible another item is a bike stand where people, there's a number of riding groups that use this area,
Yep.
great riding, where if, not so much on the weekends because of the other activities, or maybe on a Saturday because it's not so bad, they could park their car, put their bike up, check their air. They have one, I have a picture of it, over at Bradley Palmer.
Okay.
And, we could talk to people at some of the bike shops, see if it's something that they think would be advantageous. I know with like flat tire riding, you gotta keep adjusting, you should be adjusting your tire pressure, depending on what kind of terrain you're gonna be using versus a road bike.
We have a bike trail in it goes right through our neighborhood, and there's little stations, so there's an air pump and,
Some
different-
basic tools. and,
Yeah.
Yeah, if you need to change your tire,
Right.
we can, and they're all cabled, so.
Yeah, so no one's gonna take them,
Yeah.
but it's all kinds of different, I can try and take a picture of one of those too, but.
'Cause there's a
That's
big
really
event
nice.
in the fall, I think it's called Blazing Saddles or Swear Saddles, where one of the riding groups will do a century ride, for 100 miles.
Isn't there like a water station in Newbury for that?
Yeah, there's always.
They congregated in the Triton parking lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I lived on Main Street and there was at times more bikes on the road than cars.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of crazy. Okay, so we have bike station, EV chargers, playground, walking trails with fitness stations, 2 bridges, and canoe lodge. Anything else?
Do we, again, we want to throw it out there, do we want space for public art? Do we want to, like Newburyport and some other places, devote an area, perhaps by the top of what was the sledding hill, which I'll let say. We're working with, say, the council, the Arts Council, that they could, if they're interested, it'd be them and not us. If they wanted to put out a proposal, we
Yeah.
want to put an art project here, we'll pick 2 or whatever. I think it would be an ideal spot. Some of the other places in town, the Upper Green, Lower Green, are in historic areas, and there's a big push not to do that.
Yeah.
So here's a place where, geez, wouldn't that be great?
No, I think it's a great idea.
And
And we have, if you could do something on the street side where the cars aren't supposed to park, that'd be, because people drive by that all the time. It's a good viewing spot for it.
And you can
Question-
see it from the walking.
Yeah. Question for you. If there was a volleyball court, would people come and use it? I think I asked you before.
I don't think so. Not as much as I think we would want.
It's a great idea.
I,
but-
d- it's,
yeah.
I don't know, cause I know volleyball's not very big among like the high school at least, cause there's no boys team or anything, so, right, so the girls play it. I don't know if older people would use it, like, would it be like a beach volleyball, or would
I
it
don't
be
know.
like a?
I don't know. I just know that, I know that, like, near Endicott College, there's one that is, sort of over the, you know, it's not operational right now because they're redoing that area, but there's always kids playing, always. So I don't know.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, it's kinda hard to say, no one ever really, I feel like the basketball court, yeah, some kids would definitely use, but.
I don't
Can
know
I
if
ask
it's a college
about the lights that are there? Because I've seen like portable lights. Is that something that like clubs are bringing in? Or is that something the town provides? Because I'm wondering if you offered, like my husband plays Ultimate Frisbee and they play in Ipswich at Violet Park on like Tuesday nights.
Tuesday nights.
Yeah, so, but it's, you know, until 10 o'clock at night and they have lights. Like, would you get more usage for the fields if you offered things at night in the summer?
I've seen them, I've seen the lights.
They
being
have been
used.
there, that,
Are they the town's lights or are they,
No,
no, they're the clubs, whatever club is?
we don't really know whose they are.
Oh.
well,
Aren't they like stored down a hill?
Yeah.
they're
Just
stored,
at the bottom?
the older ones were the new ones, they maybe start renting them, but that's a conversation to have, but, the lights have been there for the last, since the fields have been open. They've
Okay.
gotten permission years and years ago, and there's never been an objection, because it's limited.
Sure.
They're off by like 8 o'clock.
Okay.
I don't know if the neighbors would, you know, that's something we could.
It might be too much light pollution, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, I know that Triton does the football game on Friday night, and I don't, what time does that game usually end?
And, anywhere from 8:30 to 9:30.
Okay, so that's probably still.
Yeah, the lights don't go.
Yeah,
I live
no.
right there, lights don't go.
But the lights are on.
Until like 9.
Bother you at all?
No, I like it. I think it's fun.
That's-
I could walk there actually when the lights are
Yeah.
on,
Okay,
which
awesome.
is nice.
See, another reason with the walking trail, you can
Mhm.
walk.
It is.
Yeah,
it's nice
I'm big
to
on
walk
the walking too.
There are
The other
lights.
thing I was wondering about was shade, because obviously it's fields, there's no shade there. Is there somewhere to have like a sunshade if, you know, if you were to put the playground there and a mom goes there with her, you know,
Yeah.
toddler and wants to sit down and have a snack at the picnic table,
picnic
there's
table.
no like real shaded area, is there a way to put something
I
like
think
that?
that would, well, I think that's probably why he mentioned putting it close to the field house.
Yeah, because they could duck underneath
Under
the,
that,
yeah.
porch.
But yeah, that's, I mean, all these things are definite inexpensive possibilities.
Yeah, because the new playground at Page there, the school I work at there is like a sort
Like a
of.
shade over it?
Yes,
Yeah.
there's like a structure.
'Cause it
and
can
two
get pretty
picnic
hot.
tables, right.
Yeah, that's the hard part about anything up there. I do know it's hot and particularly in the spring, windy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yes, I've noticed
Very
that.
windy.
Yeah.
But you want it to be used, and in the summertime, if it's
Yeah,
in the sun,
yeah.
might be less likely to go use it.
Yeah. Because there's, again, I think it was like Action Cove, because the trees are so close, they provide
Sure.
a level of
Natural shade.
natural shade on the equipment and.
Sure.
Okay,
Where we find some, the picture I showed you, one of the benefits of, it's basically a big mound with a slide that you don't have to climb up a ladder, you climb up a hill. Look at NES, there's a slide that's right outside the preschool room, that's right on the ground. So you walk up a hill and you slide down, so you can't fall off.
That's nice.
Well, it's a big safety
Sure.
thing, yeah. And tunnels and a small climbing wall. And it blends in, the way it's designed, it doesn't get as hot.
Okay.
Because like there's different sides to it. So in the morning, this side will get the sun, but the other sides you go up and down. I'll send out an email of it.
okay,
But
I think I got that.
you're privileged.
I was.
But yeah. So yeah, we gotta get a master plan, and I would say that we need to have it solidified like in a month or so we can make, or by the April meeting. Does that make sense? Because I think we've talked about it for years, and we're not making the progress that I think we need to make.
And aren't you looking to use ARPA funding for this?
Exactly.
So you wanna get it in there before it's all gone.
Yeah. Okay, so I will contact Chris tomorrow, the next day, and throw these things at him, see if he can give me a price on doing a master plan sketch for this stuff, and then we vote on it next week. I mean, next week, next meeting, and then we'll go from there. Figure out what we want to chop off.
And we don't need to put all that stuff in, but we can.
Yeah.
Which is sort of where I'm going with the next part. A couple meetings ago, I submitted for people's consideration a document, a request form for allocation of discretionary funds, just so that we have an idea. We can assess things and be a tactile, visual learner. I like to have things in front of me. So the idea was, for example, with the water crossing, to do a little bit of the homework, to say, here's what here's what it's going to cost. Sorry, Ben. Here's what it looks like. Here's some of the process. So it's not we talk about it and nothing happens. So I have a number of these for us to look at, and just not asking for any immediate response. Rather, let's start thinking about prioritizing. For example, that's the water crossing I gave people.
Yep.
This one is, again, crap. The skating rink we talked about for years.
Yep.
The research was done, and it's going to cost like $5,000 that we could allocate, and we could put it up. I'm not avoiding it, Ben. And what I did was, some websites to see what it looks like, so it's not just, hey, this is what it is.
Yeah, people are doing it, like, you drive through Topsfield Center, they have one there. They're all over the place now. A lot of municipalities, we were gonna do it 3-4 years ago, 5 years ago, when we approved it,
And where was it going to go?
by the library. And then,
Library.
and then we had our legs chopped off because that's not our
Purview.
Yeah, so.
But it might be now, but the idea was, if it
Are
was
you
up
talking about
at
at the field?
What's that?
At the library, you're talking about in the
In
baseball
the
field?
baseball field. Baseball was okay with it.
Sure.
We could use the fencing for support.
Yeah.
Kids could learn. It wouldn't be half the size of this room.
Mhm.
More for beginner skaters
Yeah.
and families to do
Little kids,
something. The idea, after consulting with a number of people in town, Central Street Fields would be tough because it's so bright.
Mm.
And that's what you don't have it here. You'd get particularly the afternoon shade.
Mhm. And the wind up there too.
In the wind, the library would help initiate this, and they said we could be a warming station. We could take the skates off in the dugouts, we can go into the library and have hot cocoa, we could have a
bathroom
nice, hey, go skating, go reading, so real collaboration. Again, the question I asked before about jurisdiction, we do have the responsibility for Kent Way. And the ball field is sort of in that gray zone. It's not Kent Way, but it's currently not under our jurisdiction. But we should be able to use it and use our funds to
Where
be
is it
able.
under?
The approval of that comes by the board of select board.
Yeah, it's a weird situation. There's been a group of people that have run baseball there for years and have done a fairly decent job doing it. And so it just worked. So we haven't taken that on, and we did, I think there was a question about maybe having us take it on by maybe someone from the baseball group, but there was a period of time that we couldn't bite anything off. We were just like, you know, there's a lot going on, and it was just to add one more thing to our plate was too much. But
So the skating get put aside, we can revisit it. Clearly, it's not an option for this season. You know, people did complain that, you know, it's not gonna be consistent, there's, you know, it all depends on the weather. It's like, yeah,
Right.
but right now we don't have an alternative other than the upper green. And it would be nice to have a consistent, hey, you can skate Tuesdays and Thursdays, hockey's over here, and we have open skate over here, however we want to do it, to encourage that. When this project was initially proposed, the fire chief was really on board to keep kids off of and families off of ponds and
Yeah,
stuff.
makes
Because
sense.
you know, and then like the next year, that winter, we had that incident at Mill Pond. So let's
Right.
do something
Safe place,
proactive.
yeah.
Well, especially the library too, because you have bathrooms right there, and like you said, you go in and get warm, and, you know.
yeah, it's just,
Parking,
it was something that we didn't understand at that point as far as a committee. We didn't know what we could do and what we couldn't do. And so what happened was that we were, at that point, and it may change in the future, our jurisdiction was Central Fields only. So if we had known that, we might have revisited that and gone to the fields, but we had such a great deal. Mark had the sort of setup with the library to do all this stuff, hot chocolate, bathrooms, heating, warming, perfect location,
Right.
just
Would putting something like this on the fields ruin the fields?
No.
No.
Oh, really?
yeah.
In fact, up at, was it in Hampton, when we do, I can't think of the name of the field. I have to think of the park. There's a sledding hill, and they put this ice skating right on the basketball court.
Huh.
And it's great. The problem is there's not a lot of parking. There used to be parking on the road,
Yeah.
and they took that out, so it's just the lower parking. That's where they have their bonfire. So it's pretty good, and that's something we can consider at the end of this fiscal year or beginning of next fiscal year, talking to the board of select board. Can we do this there and get an exemption, or maybe say, and we've talked to baseball, at least the old baseball group are like, sure. But the question is, again, going back to jurisdiction, wouldn't it be nice if we had a Friday night, family night kickball?
Huh.
All right, seniors can come. It'll be Thursday afternoon
That would be
kickball.
fun.
But it would be, yeah, come over here. It's the library, which is.
You probably draw food trucks too, they'd find out about it.
Yeah, so the idea is, hey, how do we use, baseball's done. You know, the idea is, what can we do to
Use it,
support
don't just sit
families?
it, yeah, it's not just sitting
You know,
there.
baseball, it comes to an end. Let's, one night a week, which is a whole other issue.
You could do wiffle ball, there's all kinds of things you
Yeah,
can do there.
well, kickball would bring, I'm finding a lot of my players never played baseball or anything, so kickball is just that,
Yeah.
what do you mean run the first? Which one's first? You know, so, the other one is fitness around the field. I can leave these out for people. More elaborate than originally planned, but if we did one a year, add a new station, and then next year's budget, here's $3,000, and we're going to put in the chain bar. You know, do two, so one here and one at the far end, and the next year, people can. Actually, I would encourage people to vote on it. What do you want next?
Yeah.
You want a step up? Do you want this? Let people vote. You know. But the other big one is the water disposable, to reduce the disposable bottles.
That'd be awesome.
These are like 25,000 for commercial grade, 2,500 for
Wait,
commercial.
I'm sorry, what is this?
Like a
Like a water filling
A
station.
water filling station.
Oh, okay.
To reduce
Yeah.
waste, we could replace the one that's in there now.
Is there a water fountain?
There's a water fountain inside. We could replace it with that. The cost, under under 3,000.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if anybody on DPW can do license plumber?
They'd have to get a plumber, because they just have someone with a CS license, construction
Yeah.
supervisor.
So, yeah,
And you know what, I don't know about municipalities, maybe they don't have to go through the permitting process, I'm not sure.
but I'll show you, I'll get these out, 'cause I can't find my cost.
Yeah, these things are, it looked like it was $2,138 US dollars.
Yeah, but I had a form all filled out. But the idea, these are some of the things we can allocate funds for, you know. So ticket,
Yeah, I think people would use this more than the bubbler. No one uses the bubblers.
yeah, and particularly we told our regular users, hey, it's here. And an ongoing cost is a new filter, depending on how much use it gets every 6 months or.
All right.
Okay. All right, dumpster's full again, I will,
I thought, did we discuss taking that away?
I
or
thought we
just
were
gonna-
locking that, because it's not locked.
well, they,
Wide open.
my assumption was somebody broke the lock, because it is not, it is not secured anymore.
I see.
It's very difficult to lock it. I tried, and it's difficult to lock it. And I don't know if the town has tried something different. It's easy to lift up the plastic lids and get things in
Get
it.
enough room to
So
shove something
if
in.
we could keep it so that just dog trash got in there, or, you know, someone's bag and not someone's bicycle or lounger or something that goes in there.
What about putting another, like a regular sized trash barrel with that's open for dog waste or whatever? Maybe that would encourage people instead of,
It still needs to be empty, so, I mean, it's a matter of working with Mello, and I, at one point, they had the bar, and you could go over
yeah.
the lids.
Yep,
And that was locked into the place, and for a long time, that worked.
I bought a lot there, yeah.
I don't know if that bar got broken or what. I will ask Mello to make the scheduled pickup this Wednesday.
Does the town own that dumpster, or is that like rented from Mello? Like,
No.
could they give you a new one? You know what I mean?
They should be able to get us a new one.
One that has a bar that works and,
Well,
I think that sometimes they stay, like the one there's one at a good sized one at the ball fields, baseball field.
mhm.
And I think that's the same one, been there for the longest time.
this has
But it's
been,
not broken.
well,
It's got a rat hole in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do people dump trash there too?
Not that I've seen, but that maybe, I don't know. I don't think you can get in there, but I know there's got a little hole for dog waste.
well, let's ask DPW to take a hard look at it.
Okay.
To secure it, I'll work right to Tracy. And if we need to get a new one, or ask them to replace it, because it's nice for the dog walkers to be able to.
Yeah, no, I get
use those.
that.
Yeah.
All right. Getting late. So, old business, we should continue on with that?
I tabled the, I make motion to, I don't know, motion, but the update the webpage recommendation, can we just table that?
Yes.
Policy proposal, I asked that we table that because there was a long presentation and without Mary here, I'd be redundant.
Review policy proposal. Doesn't have to go, has that been approved?
No.
Okay.
There are some comments made, I had worked through it. And
So you did get the revised vision from the,
Yeah, that was sent out, and I'm
see it.
responding to some of her questions.
Okay.
And I will continue working that, and I will send it to the attorney. If people,
Okay.
if you guys want to look at it as well, I can do that, and just get her feedback, and that should do it, and hopefully by the April meeting, it's done.
all right, we'll table that one.
Confirm next steps for replacing the temporary crossing. Before I know it's part of the master plan, but there's only one place that replacing the bridge is going to be. And the step is going to the select board, asking them to make this change as part of a bigger package of replacing the bridge to the island and the canoe launch, because they can only go in one spot.
Yes.
Right. We need to go to the Conservation Commission, because some of that's in a critical, area of critical need, critical area, environmental critical area or something, and get their approval and go through a whole Conservation Commission process. So in order for me to do that, or us to do that, we go to the board and say we would like to do that. And they say, yes, you can do that because you're making changes to the property. Then we can go to the Conservation Commission and start the review process with them. So is it okay if I go to the select board and say, here's a general plan of what we're trying to do?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We just went over the identified
Yeah.
improvements for Central Street Recreation Area, create spending plan for fiscal year '24,
Table it?
table that, identify protocol to create new line items for action stuff for the current.
That is, and if you wanted to do something like, if you wanted to have a senior beach day at Plum Island, a volleyball tournament for the seniors, we couldn't use our funds for it. Our funds are restricted to Kent Way and to Central Street. So if we wanted to do
Yeah, we'd have to,
we have to create another line item. The idea is, do we want to do that now and have them created so that we can do it might be for FY '24, a family night for the summer. Friday nights, we supply X, Y, and Z for kickball at
The library.
the library,
Yeah.
for something of that nature.
yeah. It's just how we're gonna make that happen with what we can do and what we can't do.
That would be part of the conversation and sort of help evolve, because we're restricted. If we're a recreation committee for the town,
It has to change.
then we're not utilizing all of our resources. If we want, for example, a softball tournament behind NES, we couldn't pay for it.
Nope. So we have to go through, I think, through town meeting to change that, or is that with this
Well,
select board?
I think it has to go, talk to the administrator first, then the select board to support it, and then to the town.
Okay.
And it may not happen this year, but put it on our radar. We can talk more about it, and I'll talk to Tracy down the pipeline. Master plan? We talked about.
Yeah, we talked about that already, and updated playground. We can't do anything until we know when, where, how. So that will be that.
And you guys skipped over the sandwich board thing?
Oh, sandwich board.
Table that or?
No.
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 The A-frame board?
Yeah, now did we or did we not vote on that? You thought we did?
I thought we did, I didn't see it in my notes.
I know that we have done it prior years.
But
Can we vote on it tonight? Anybody have any objections to that?
What is this?
here's the thing, here's what it would look like again.
For like announcing that the field is
Yeah,
open.
just
at
wanted to
the-
talk about this.
Okay.
So, I propose that we come up with $300 up to $300 to come up with a sandwich display board to either put signage for when the fields are open or not, blah, 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 blah.
So are these stored in the field house?
Yeah, for now.
And then who puts them out? DPW?
I think we might have one right now, but I think it may be a little small, little baby one, and it might be in that building. You probably have better
I
idea.
have one in that building, my own, that I put
Did you
out.
see one that's real small?
I didn't,
Okay.
but it could be in the kitchen area.
Okay, it might have been tossed. But anyway, I propose we spend $300 to buy a street display board.
But that's 114.
You want two?
Well,
No,
no.
up to.
Up to.
But the thing is, this is just, the board has no signage on it.
It doesn't come with letters.
We could get one with the lines on it.
That is
Then
that's
you-
what I have, it's a
Yeah.
Is it?
My suggestion is we can go to a person who makes signs, get it with the town logo, and fields are closed.
Mhm.
That's gonna cost more money.
It's about $100 for that one part, and then for the board. So, we can get more accurate numbers, but let me look around. But I think
Do you wanna table this?
let's say 400, and if it comes in higher, we re-vote on it.
Okay. All right, so I propose we spend up to $400 for, Mark will investigate for a street signage board. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Any discussion?
And just fields closed, please
Yeah.
stay off the field or something like that.
Yeah,
But basically, yeah, okay.
all right. All agreed? All right, it's
Okay, all
done.
right, yeah, good.
All right, so we have to pick a time for our next meeting.
I have, from last time, sorry, I have vote on 4/1 hard date to open field earlier now. Was that from this meeting or no?
Well, that was part of earlier, but I think when we did the vote for them, it was-
That was covered, okay,
Yeah.
great.
so it's the same weekend.
Yeah, fair, okay. Oh, yeah, the March 31st one.
Yep. And that just saves us all the,
Good notes. You know,
And then I
you'd be
also
a
have
good,
scraper.
you would be good at being a clerk. I think, yeah.
Let me just figure out being good at one component.
you know what, you're probably a really good person in charge.
I think so too.
Oh, wow.
Oh, come on.
No offense,
I
guys.
just hit it. All right, so let's pick a time and a date for a beautiful March. So I've got, the first Monday in March is March 6th. Any problems with that?
It's a nice day.
Hopefully it'll be a nice day. Not a snow
Yeah,
day.
let's call it and
Yeah, so we'll call March 6th, 6 PM. I propose, all feel good about that?
Mhm.
Discussion?
Yes. No. Okay.
And
All
I
right.
make a motion that we adjourn the meeting at 7:34.
Second, let's do it.
Great.
Thank you, everybody.